Welcome to Long Brothers Reviews, the show where sibling rivalry meets the cinema, as two brothers rate and debate movies past, present, and coming soon. That is my brother Todd.
And that's my brother Mike, and today's movie is Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, starring Ben Affleck and Henry, is it Cavill?
Go with that.
Directed by Zack Snyder.
This week's order was decided by a coin flip by Adam West, so Todd, you're up first.
If someone with Superman's powers and abilities really did come to Earth, how would we truly react? That's a major point of contention in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. The film takes place in the months immediately following the battle with General Zod in Man of Steel, and the collateral damage from that battle has many asking if Superman is friend or foe. Now, while some see Superman as a hero, maybe even a god, others see him as the ultimate illegal alien who could destroy mankind on little more than a whim. This is a much darker superhero movie than we've seen, even more so than Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. It talks a little bit about some philosophical questions about the nature of God and God's relationship to man, which is not the typical superhero fare we're used to. And on top of that, Ben Affleck's highly anticipated Batman does not live by the high moral code that was so central to the Christian Bale performances. This Batman openly lives and operates outside the law, and he's not above torturing or even killing those who he deems to deserve it. It's a performance that really doesn't disappoint, nor does the film as a whole. This movie does more than just put two famous characters on the screen in the hopes of a big box office draw. It adds a very interesting story, some really cool visual effects, and the fight scene between the two of them and the fights that follow are pretty fun to watch. It's all brought together to serve as a launching point for this whole Justice League franchise, and my only concern is that in doing so, they may have set the bar a little too high, and the following Justice League movies can't really live up to it. So does Batman vs. Superman live up to the hype? Yes, and then some, and I'm saying see it.
Well, it would have been nice to know that you need to see Man of Steel before you spend 3 hours scratching your head over this one. You know, there's a point where Batman falls asleep, he has a dream, then he has another dream inside that dream. Apparently it's World War II, maybe that happened, maybe not. And then some guy who looks like Iron Man is wrapped in electricity, waving his arms, telling things that Batman couldn't know, but he's gonna need to know later. And that's the least of the problems with this mess. Filmmakers who aspire to ponderous insights about the nature of man and good and evil and God and democracy ought to at least have a freshman in college's grasp of the subject. At one point, the screenwriter has a United States senator declare that since this is a democracy, we figure out what is good versus bad by conversation. No, we don't. That's what an idiot would say. Yet this movie is presented as some thoughtful investigation of big ideas of people who couldn't even be bothered to read the Wikipedia summary of the introduction to Western civilization and philosophy. This is so nonsensical. It's the sort of thing that you would come up with if you were high as a kite, a sophomore, had a typewriter, and a copy of Final Draft. This is rambling. It's 10 minutes crammed into almost 2.5 hours. I was bored. I was lost. It's joyless. It's ugly. Batman versus Superman versus my drowsiness on a Sunday night. This is one of the worst of the year. It is abject nonsense from beginning to end.
The thing that I think makes this show that we do so enjoyable, the episodes that I think the viewers get the most out of,
yes,
is when one of us is wrong. So I'm glad to see you're so far off the mark on this, because it's going to make this a much better episode.
You're digging your hole deeper.
It's Batman fighting Superman. There you go. Yes, they kind of bring up this whole God and man and relationship thing. And as far as Senator Holly Hunter, I figure that's something she'd really say if she was a senator. So I gave her a pass on that one. But they don't answer the questions. It's just, to me, this was kind of an interesting idea because everybody knows who Superman is. But if that really happened, we wouldn't, fair to say, I think a good chunk of the populace would not just embrace this superhuman being as number one, hey, glad you showed up. I think there were people who would react the way a big chunk of the people do in this film.
It's a cool idea, and if you, apparently it's the second half of Man of Steel, because you walk into this, and what's the first thing you see? There's some sort of monster from an alien world descending from the skies without any way to stop it, destroying the city, killing people, whipping off pieces of itself to kill people. And as soon as it's over, here's somebody standing in the corner going, I don't know, a lot of people died when Superman saved the whole effing world. It's like, really? Really? That's what you're going for? If they had shown all this collateral damage they talked about, but they didn't. If it's the second half of another picture, just announce that at the beginning so I can leave and go watch Cloverfield again.
It does help if you've seen Man of Steel. And I actually I didn't see Man of Steel when it came out, because at that point we had every Superman movie after Superman 2, The Wrath of Khan, or whichever one it was, with Christopher Reeve.
That's Star Trek.
That's Star Trek, yeah. But every Superman film between there sucked. Superman 3, where he fought Mr. T or whatever it was, that one was awful.
That's Rocky.
That's Rocky, yeah. Superman 4, which I don't remember what that one was even about. He fought Jimmy Neutron or something.
Yes, that's right.
You had Brandon, what's his name, in Superman Returns, and that was awful. And when Man of Steel came out, I was like, I'm going to waste my time and money on this. It's going to suck. So, but I had picked up enough just from flipping around on cable and watching it that I knew what was going on. Had I not seen that, my reaction would have been similar. However, I thought it was interesting that they spent absolutely no time at all really kind of giving you the backstory as to what was going on there, but they made sure and tell you for the umpteenth time that Bruce Wayne is Batman because somebody murdered his parents when he was a little kid. We get that in every single... Everybody knows how Batman became Batman. I think we could have lived without the retelling of the Batman's parents getting killed thing.
Everything you say about the questions that are asked in this picture, that's a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
I would love for this thing to be seriously about what are the limits of power. What does it mean to be a god, and what responsibilities come with that? But instead of investigating it, we just have Jesse Eisenberg, who I would watch read the phone book, by the way. Yeah. We have Jesse Eisenberg spouting off these almost psychotic bromides, and Superman saying things and Batman saying things that just sound ponderous but don't really add up to anything. Compare that to, and Christopher Nolan was a producer on this picture, compare that to The Dark Knight, which is the best of all superhero pictures ever made, and it's a serious investigation about a very narrow topic about security considerations during the last half of the Bush administration. And basically it says sometimes to keep us safe, the people who keep us safe have to do things that make them hated. That's a fascinating idea, and it's investigated thoroughly with all its messiness. I didn't see that going on here, and I really, really wanted to like this movie a lot, so I'm disappointed.
There was one funny little thing that happened. There's a scene fairly early in the movie where Lois Lane is in a desert in Africa, and she's going to interview some warlord type, and she's got a photographer from the Daily Planet with her. And, of course, the warlord's henchmen are a little suspicious, as warlord henchmen tend to be. I think we all know that. And so they take the camera from the photographer, and they're starting to look at it, and the guy grabs the back of it just as the photographer goes, no, don't open the back. And he opens the back, and he pulls the film out. He pulls a roll of Kodak film out of the camera. Now, I have worked for various media companies for the past 17 years. I can say without fear of contradiction, there's not a newspaper company in the world that is still using film in their cameras. They're all digital cameras. They've all made the switch over. I don't know what the point of that was, because he very easily could have torn apart a digital camera. But I thought, why is he doing this?
And we're running really long this week, and so I want to say something that I know is on your mind, and that is that it's so popular to trash these big budget, big fanboy pictures before they come out, and we saw plenty of that. Now, I think it was justified in the end, but a whole lot of times it's more about, can I trash this to be cool before it comes out, and I don't even have anything to say. I mean, it's just kind of juvenile and cheap, and that's always going to happen, but it disappoints me.
You're always going to have people who want to ruin Christmas for you.
Yeah.
He's going to have people who they know you're excited about something, and then you're looking forward to something, and they want to ruin it because deep down they're not happy, they're unfulfilled, and I think that's what it is. I think it's people who, whatever, maybe they're frustrated creative types or whatever the case may be, but they're not getting the success that they want, and so they're going to take a shot at somebody else's.
I just have one thing I want to add, and that is
free Shavakadu.
You can bleep that out. I'll say it again.
Free Shavakadu.
And the best part of the picture is
free Shavakadu.
Well, that's it for this episode of Long Brothers Reviews. Thanks for watching. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter to find out more or to ask us about your favorite films.
So until next time, that's my brother Todd.
And that's my brother Mike saying, like the drink, only not spelt the same.